welcome everyone. I'm Rachel from Ireland and I'm very excited to be joining KISC JOTI live shows as one of the hosts for today.
And I'm Emma, I'm from Argentina, and I will also join all of you into celebrating 100 years of KISC in this virtual event as your host.
We hope you're all hyped up for the event. We sure are. We are already living the magic of KISC throughout this week. Remember that you can engage with this show through the chat box. We also have moderators to get together with us to ensure a safe event.
We hope to read your comments, but before we dive into today's live show, how about we watch a recap video of the Founders Day celebration they had at the center on the 22nd of February.
We have been living the Baden-Powell dream since 1923, but the history dates to 1906, almost at the same time as Scouting, when construction of the northern part of the Lutschberg Tunnel began. More than 3,000 workers lived in Kandersteg. The following year, 1907, as we all know, BP was on Brownsea Island, England, at the first experimental scout camp. In 1908, two important things happened. One for the Scouts when the bestseller Scouting for Boys was published, and the other in Kandersteg, where a chalet was built to house tunnel workers and their families. When the tunnel was finally opened in 1913 and the workers left Kandersteg, the chalet was abandoned, and this is what we now know as the Old Chalet. Time passed, and 1920 marked another important event in Scouting, the first World Scout Jamboree in Olympia, England. Right there, BP announced his dream of a place in the world with the same jamboree feeling that could happen all year round, full of brotherhood, peace, and international friendship. It was thanks to Walter von Bonstetten, Swiss scout chief of the time, that the chalet in Kandersteg was discovered, and he proposed the creation of an international scout home. Finally, in 1923, BP's dream came true, and the centre was opened for all scouts. During the first decades, the centre had some important events, such as the first Rover Moot in 1931. During World War II, the chalet, tower and campsite were used to house troops guarding the valley, the medical store and French soldiers. It was not until 1947 that the place was again filled with scouts and was established as the Scout Centre. The centre continued to receive scouts from all over the world and held several important events, such as the 5th World Moot, and in 1953, where the KISC symbol, the white snowflake formed by 6 fleurs-de-lis, was born. We also had the first full-time professional camp director, Kurt Metz, in 1973.
We turned it into the Kandersteg International Scout Centre, and we got proper staff descriptions for the volunteer staff. The program really took off. We had there's a fortnight staff training. That was a real tough, good thing. I was obviously able to lay a sound foundation to what developed afterwards.
Due to the cancellation of the 15th World Scout Jamboree that was scheduled to be held in July 1979, WASM announced the World Jamboree Year and organised many international events. The European contribution was Crystal 79, a special event under the direction of Patrick McLaughlin, the European Regional Executive, and Michael Merwald, the KISC Director. Michael served as a director of the centre from 1978 until 1981. Sadly, Michael passed away on January 17, 2013. Michael's successor was Robert Agg. He was director of the centre from 1981 until 1984. Robert has sadly passed away. We thank both Michael and Robert for their dedication and love for others. With more guests and developing more staff structure, their iconic pink colour was introduced in 1989. Since then, the KISC staff has been known as the Pinkies. Then came the digital world, and in 1990, we went digital for the first time with 2 computers. Can you imagine that? 2 computers?
And due to our relationship with the World Bureau, the director at the time was an employee of the World Bureau, we were given the first Mac computers. For the Mac fans, it was an SC30, so the screen was about this size. And we kind of more or less immediately started to run a database based on FileMaker. Aidan Jones, and he was my assistant at the time. KISC, I mean, is one of the key elements of World Scouting. I think we can say that.
We hosted another moot, the 9th World Rover Moot, in 1992. And maybe it's time for another one, right? In 1996, the extension of the old chalet was inaugurated, which is what we know today as the new chalet.
KISC is really, really special. It's a very special place. And it's really difficult to explain why. I think there's lots and lots of reasons. The first is, of course, it's a fantastic setting in the Swiss Alps. It's beautiful valley, it's wonderful scenery, and I think that's already the start of it. But the Scout Centre itself and what happens at the Scout Centre is really special in its own right. And for me, that's about the fact that people come from all over the world and live together.
But if it wasn't for the people who were there because of scouting and guiding, it wouldn't be anything like it is.
It's the people at first, but then it's the village, it's the surroundings, it's the mountains. Coming to KISC for a lot of people is a very special experience. First of all, the staff, being away from home, having all these exciting new experiences, and to be part of that, to be able to be part of that, for me, I think was the absolute highlight.
The Candor Jam, parallel to the World Scout Jamboree, took place in 2007 to celebrate the centenary of Scouting. We welcomed over 1,800 guests and 150 staff. In 2009, we opened the Candor Lodge, with more accommodation for guests and staff, and acquired the neighbouring Sunneblick Chalet.
Over the years, a new tunnel was built underneath here, 400 meters underneath, that ran from Voetiken straight to Visp on the other side. And the building, what we call Candor Lodge building, was down in Kandergrund as the management building for the building of the tunnel as such. And when the tunnel was finished, like with this building, the building was empty and was left and nobody knew what to do with it. And actually, if I remember it correctly, it was one of the community council members that said, actually the parallel between the two, can we do something with it? And that cooperation made it also possible to change, all the planning laws, get it quickly done.
In 2013, we celebrated our Jubilee, a whole year of activities to commemorate our 90th anniversary. In 2014, a royal visit was received for the 68th GS Fellowship event. His Majesty, the King of Sweden, who is the honorary chairman of the World Scout Foundation, travelled with the Queen to enjoy the atmosphere in KISC.
And later we realized it's not about making people feel at home, they can feel at home, right? When they come here, they're not meant to feel at home. Here they're meant to feel like they belong. They belong to this community of people that want a better world, this community of people that want to work hard for a better world and that have the same values and share the same visions. And this is what KISC is all about. It's about creating a place where people belong to this community of scouts that want to create a better world.
We hosted the second World Scout Education Congress in 2017, with over 150 participants from more than 100 different countries at the same time. This event is the most international KISC has ever organised. Then the COVID-19 pandemic forced us to close for 3 months. It was the first time the centre had closed since World War II. New health safety measures were implemented to reopen safely in 2020.
Health and safety was always a priority and was always something, like many of you around the world, had to look out for and care about.
Despite government initiatives and our insurance support, the year closed with a large financial loss, with 75% of our guests moving their bookings to 2021 or cancelling them. As the pandemic continued, the KISC committee took the decision to reduce services and minimise operations in 2021. Many changes were made in order to survive. The staff was reduced to only 5 people, and the chalet was completely closed.
I've been incredibly proud of the team that minimised the centre down during the pandemic, that managed to safely run the centre in a way that meant we could still welcome some guests, but really look after people's health and safety. Also trying to be careful with the finances of the centre, with very few guests coming through in 2 years. And then that group that built everything back up.
During the autumn, the KISC restart began, and the Winter Pinky team was put in place, and 200 guests enjoyed the celebration of the start of KISC's 99th anniversary.
Knowing that it was Baden-Powell himself that chose the centre, that came up with this idea of a permanent mini jamboree, that he visited here and talked about how special it was. When you bring that history together with an incredibly enthusiastic and motivated group of volunteers, you get this wonderful experience of the World Scout Centre and the permanent mini jamboree.
In 2022, the number of guests returned to normal, and a very new team of staff did everything possible to get the centre back on track. Many digital improvements have been made during the pandemic, offering our guests a smoother and better service. Now, preparations are underway for the Centenary in 2023 to celebrate our 100 years of history, and you are invited. See you in 100 years.
Looks like it was some great fun. And now without further ado, let's get this live show started. We now present Jack Higgins, the director of KISC. Hello Jack, so many Scouts have been waiting for KISC JOTI to celebrate the anniversary of the World Scout Centre. What would you like to say to all of them joining us today?
Thanks Emma and Rachel. So I'm Jack, I'm the director here at Candlestick International Scout Centre, and it's so exciting to be kicking off KISC JOTI weekend. This week we've engaged with 100,000 scouts and guides from around the whole world, over 100 countries taking part. And for me, this event is one of the most exciting things to have happened here at KISC in the last 100 years. Baden-Powell founded the centre. He came up with the idea of a permanent mini jamboree back in 1923. Now, 100 years later, the World Scout Centre stands here in Switzerland. Every year, thousands of guests coming to Candlestick, coming up into the mountains, just like you can see behind me, to take part in international friendship, high adventure, and eco activities. And that's what you've been learning about all through this week by taking part in activities, earning the badges, and now through the live shows and the workshops that you're going to get a chance to take part in over the next 3 days. So it's great to have you here. We have as many people joining this week as nearly 10 years worth of guests coming to the centre. That's why I think if Baden-Powell was here, he'd be so happy to see us all online, getting to know each other and sharing our scouting together. So later today you'll also have a chance to join a session with me all about becoming a volunteer, being a scout guest, maybe a member or a work party. So do come and join me for my session. But for now, it's great to see you. I hope you enjoy the weekend. Be prepared and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Jack, for joining us today. You know, Rachel, with so many people joining us from so many different places, different hemispheres, we know there's snow here in Switzerland at KISC, but I'm sure it's summer somewhere else. I think it's time for a weather report.
Is there really a weather report? Wow, let's get to it.
Welcome to the World Weather Report. Today we're live from Candlestick International Scout Centre, the World Scout Centre, and we're going to do the weather report for you today. We are currently in Candlestick, and in Candlestick, Switzerland, it's always very snowy and cold. And then we go further down to the left, where you have New York, where it's very sunny. So we take out the sunglasses, we're going to put them on, where the sun is quite bright in my eyes at the moment. When we go further down, we have South Africa, Cape Town, where it's very windy at the moment. have here on the right side of our globe, currently on the map that we have today, it's Sydney in Australia where it rains. I'm so sorry, but it's quite wet in Australia. We have to the left, we have Buenos Aires in Argentina, where it's currently very hot. So I'm gonna take out my jacket. Let's go back to the studio, back to Rachel and Emma.
That was so fun!
And here we are back with a special guest. This time we're introducing Ahmad Al-Hendawi, the Secretary General of the World Organization of the Scout Movement.
KISC is an embodiment of the spirit of Scouting and World Scouting at large. It's an embodiment because it's the dream of the founder when it comes to having a permanent site for a jamboree. But it's a place that is welcoming, has been welcoming over the years across all seasons, and all seasons are beautiful there. Welcoming scouts from all around the world to really come and immerse themselves in what Scouting is all about. It's about that joyful and transformative experience. We bring people from different walks of life with that very unique experience that we offer in Scouting. That combination of being out in nature and this beautiful site, and that ability to welcome scouts from around the world, where you would fully have that experience of what is Scouting and how Scouting is exercised. Scouting with KISC is a stronger organization because today it's a place where scouts around the world would love to visit, would like to be there. And in World Scouting over the years, we have leaned on KISC to be the place where it can support our events, our activities, and really offer some acceleration to some of the work we do. We have tested a lot of programs and initiatives, first in KISC. We bring our World Scout Committee to meet regularly there. Our regions are benefiting from KISC and by convening their activities. And as we speak, in fact, we have a big event taking place for the European region there at KISC. And at the same time, it's really a place where supporters, donors, contributors to Scouting through the World Scout Foundation and others come regularly to be inspired and to connect with how Scouting looks like when scouts from all around the world come together. So for me, really, in the orbit of Scouting, KISC is a very important anchor.
Thank you so much for joining this event.
Yes, it's very important as scouts to receive support from Ahmed and Wasm.
So, Emma, I've heard that some young people are really excited about something called talent shows.
That's right. Similarly to Joti, we have challenged young people from all around the globe to record and submit their performances. And guess what? We receive incredible videos from very talented young people from all parts of the planet.
Are you ready for the first talent show of KISC JOTI? Let's bring to the stage Yulia from Ukraine. She is learning sign language and is now signing Shedrick for us. The floor is yours.
That was amazing. Thank you, Julia, for sharing your talent with us today. Moving on to the next talent, let's bring to the stage Maggie from the USA and Maru from Argentina.
Hola, soy Maru. Hi, I'm Maggie, and we are about to play you a song that might remind some of you of the last jamboree in the United States.
Vamos a tocar una canción que tal vez nos traiga algunos recuerdos del último jamboree en Estados Unidos. So we hope you like it.
Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
Great song choice from Maru and Maggie. Next on the stage is Spencer from Indonesia. Let's sit back and relax to an Indonesian traditional dance, the Tarian Tanduk Lempongan from South Sulawesi, shall we?
Those were amazing performances, don't you think, Rachel?
Yeah.
Are you ready to play a game? I think it's time for one now.
It is time for a game now, indeed. Wherever you're watching us from, I would like you to find 3 objects near you.
The first one should be green, for KISC JOTI. The second one should have a fleur-de-lis. And for the last object, we would like you to find an object that reminds you of the best memories you have of scouting. Share your objects with us in the comments.
Hey Emma, I think we have someone else joining us today. We would now like to welcome Edward Andrew Chapman, Chair of the World Scout Committee.
Hello, my dear friends in Scouting. My name is Andy Chapman, and I'm happy to be joining you today in my role as Chairperson of the World Scout Committee. It's a pleasure for me to be speaking to you all virtually for the KISC Jamboree on the Internet. This is an exciting year for all of us to be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Kandersteg International Scout Center, the permanent mini jamboree and the dream of Scouting's founder, Lord Baden-Powell. It's incredible to think that the Scout movement was founded over 100 years ago with the simple concept of doing a good turn and helping other people. I think our founder would be incredibly proud of everything we have achieved and how we continue to focus on helping those who are in need through Scouting. Most importantly, I think we can all be proud of the direction we are taking the Scout movement to impact even more young people around the world in the future. Each of you in Scouting wears on your uniform the purple World Scout emblem with the world crest that shows you are all members of the World Scouting movement. Over 57 million scouts in over 170 countries around the world wear that same round purple badge that you also wear on your uniform. This shows that you are a member of the World Organization of the Scout Movement and that you are connected through Scouting to those 57 million Scouting brothers and sisters all around the world. Scouting's impact is clear, and it remains as relevant today as it was over 100 years ago. We must also continue to make Scouting a modern, relevant, and attractive educational offering if we want to ensure that Scouting evolves with the times and serves the youth of this planet that we all share. If there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that the world needs more Scouting. Since this week, we are also celebrating Founders Day in Scouting, I wanted to leave you with some final words from our founder, Lord Baden-Powell. He said, "Be content with what you have got and make the best of it. Look on the bright side of things instead of the gloomy one. The real way to get happiness is by giving out happiness to other people. Try to leave this world a little better than you found it. And when your turn comes to die, you can die happy and feeling that at any rate, you have not wasted your time, but that you have done your best." I want to thank you all for continuing to live out this dream and endure to do your best. on behalf of the entire World Scout Committee, we are sending you all our best wishes for a great KISC Jamboree on the internet. I hope you all have a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. How important it is as Scouts to get involved in the local community. We have brought some inspiring stories from all around the world.
That is so true, Emma. I'm really interested in hearing about Yusser from Tunisia. During the pandemic, Yusser and her scout group volunteered on the front line distributing PPE and essential items and ran hand washing campaigns to help educate their community and reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Thank you so much, Emma and Rachel, for the amazing introduction. And hello, Yusir. So nice to meet you and hear from you. I know a lot of Scouts are watching right now, so I would like you to introduce yourself and if you can tell us a little bit of your project.
Aslema, everyone. So, et bonjour pour tous les Français qui nous regardent maintenant. I'm Yusuf Rajiz, and I'm from Tunisia. I'm here actually representing my group Granville Al Medina, as Messengers of Peace Hero. Do you want me to tell you more about the project? Yes, because I'm really excited to be here with all of you, the Scouts. So we won the Messenger of Peace Hero Award in 2021, and we won that award because of the incredible amount of volunteering hours that we have done during the pandemic, because we took a good care of the citizens in our local community, but not only of them, but also with the doctors, and we even went to the hospitals to get over the pandemic with minimum possible losses and maintain a good mental health at the same time. So by that, all of that work and communicating with people, we even created a sanitizing machine to put it in the door of the hospital, so everything in and out from the hospital will be sanitized automatically and with basically zero budget. Also, we distributed all kinds of bags, food bags, blankets for rough winters, etc. We even reached the rural areas because the government itself cannot reach these places, except because we are Scouts and everyone knows us in there, so they trust us more and we can move more easily in those areas, and we can touch more people. Also, a very important point is the fact that the people in Tunisia didn't even believe in the existence of the virus itself in the beginning. So even convincing them that the virus does actually exists and people are dying all around the world was a challenge itself. Well, I've always been asked about the main motivation for us to keep going and going through all of those works. Well, actually, the answer has been always the pain that we felt around us, like the people we've seen suffering and people dying, and us not doing nothing about it felt just so wrong. So every time we lose anybody or we see people suffering, it pushes us more and more to work better and work more and do our best just to provide them a better care and make people more aware of the situations.
Yes, so an amazing congratulations to your whole Scout group, because I know it's a shared accomplishment, and you've received the award as a group entirely. So that's really impressive. And I wanted to connect this a little bit, and we're bringing back stories from COVID that seems sometimes far away, sometimes super close. But I think the pandemic left us with a lot of thoughts, a lot of lessons learned. And this is where I wanted to ask you, apart from everything you've done in the pandemic, how has the project taken shape nowadays? How have you seen the impact driven towards 2023?
Yeah, so not only in Tunisia, everyone around the world. If you can remember, we even had accidents about everyone doing sports in their house and twisted ankle, etc. So I got really excited about that. Other people just got to the nature and used it as their only refugee to escape the reality of the pandemic, etc. Actually, running away from the pandemic to the nature made us realize about what human has done to the nature, that which is our only runaway, with all the pollution, climate change, etc. So we now decided to take more care of the nature and be more aware that about the danger that surrounds our world. And now we are more aware that is our only runaway, so we are more taking care of that and spreading awareness about it, knowing that everyone realized that during the pandemic.
Oh, amazing. No, amazing. It's really, again, like I said before, it's really nice to see how the problems during 2020, 2021 shifted very quickly into different kind of problems, and your scout group still available to address them. It's really nice, and it's what we wanted to show during this segment of community involvement impact. And talking about impact, the last question I had prepared for you is, what's the impact of this project nowadays? Can you share any details, any numbers that you have?
Well, I can tell you about the growth of our group, because we moved from like 50% to 200% member in our group. So by talking to person by person and everyone knowing us during the pandemic, knocking door by door to people, talking to them and helping who's in need, and taking help from others just to give them that to someone who needs it and deserves it more, made everyone basically from the place we are living knows us more. And afterwards everyone like trust us like so much and knows us one by one and be like, hey, can my kid come with you and learn and teach him some of the stuff that you are doing? Of course, yeah. And we reached into 200 person joining our scout group.
Again, congratulations to the group for such a big number. I always have this thought behind my mind that I think, and I'm a huge advocate, that community involvement is an amazing tool, even for membership growth in scout groups. And what we always say, as the more scouts we have in the world, we think the world is a better place, and we're building with more people a better world. So even this project even touched a little bit of membership, and that's crazy good. Thank you so much, Yosir. We had a little time, but I know people will be eager to know more about the project. I know that your story is also available online, so people can take a look there and learn a little bit more. But I really want to thank you for your time. And if you want to send a final message to all of the scouts that are watching us right now, you can do it right now.
Yes, so the Messenger of Peace here was a huge opportunity for us, and our project took a big switch from where we was. People now trust us. We are now growing, and we will be growing more and more. But what will really makes us happy, if you really look up our stories or even contact me at any time you want and learn about this, let us be your inspiration to take action in your local communities. Thank you so much for having me, Flor.
No,
thank you so all for listening to my story.
Thank you, Yosir. Bye-bye. And now we bring it back to the hosts.
That was so impressive. It's amazing what they've done. And now that the project has evolved into 2023 and we're hearing about it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your work and active involvement in your community, Joseph. It's great to see what scouts from around the world can do.
You know what? I agree. But I must admit, I also feel very excited about the next few talent show performances.
That's right. Please give Poonam Chand from India a round of applause.
हेलो, मेरा नाम पूनम चंद, डिस्ट्रिक्ट श्री गंगानगर, राजस्थान प्रदेश स्काउट एंड गाइड। मैं लोकगीत प्रस्तुत करने जा रहा हूँ, कदी आओ नि रसीला म्हारे देश। कदी आओ नीर सीला मारे देश जो थारी बाट गणी कदी आओ नीर सीला मारे देश जो तारी बाट गणी केसरिया बालमा अवोनी पधारो मारे देश जी पधारो मारे देश.
Let's all sit back and relax while we bring to the stage Sebastiano from Italy, who's playing the piano for us.
And for today's last performance, we have Ali from Pakistan, who's also playing an instrument.
That was amazing. I wish I could do that. This live show is coming to an end, but before we say goodbye, our next guest has something to share with all the scouts around the world. We now welcome the 2023 project director here in the World Scout Center. Hello Hassan, thank you for connecting with us.
Thank you, Emma and Rachel. We're here reflecting on the whole day next to the time capsule of Baden-Powell. This place, Baden-Powell, used to camp in 1923, overseeing all the scouts around the world, enjoying the Swiss Alps. So here is exactly where he used to camp. And here, this is the time capsule where he has his own secret message to the directors. So only the KISC directors can access this message when they leave the center, and they can add another one for the future directors. You can see also in the back there is the Baden-Powell campfire, where he used to make some campfires in the past. But this place is a really important place for us and very historical as well. Here we can reflect on the impact of scouting for the last 100 years and the impact of the World Scout Center as well. As scouts, we are trying to create a better world, and the movement is so huge that it's crossing 173 countries all around the world. So just reflect here in the chat and write what do you think about the movement, how it changed in the last 100 years, how we're creating this positive change. In the end, I want to thank all the volunteers and all the scouts who made this event happen, but also who kept this center going for the 100 years. It's really great to see all of this impact going and see it turning from physical to virtual reality as well. We're all connecting virtually without the need to travel to Switzerland and enjoying the Swiss Alps. So I hope you enjoyed the day, I hope you enjoyed the weekend, and here is for another centenary for the World Scout Center. Thank you everyone.
Thank you for your time, Hassan. Unfortunately, our show today has come to an end.
Yes, but we have more coming up. Make sure you don't miss tomorrow's live show where we are going to host a virtual campfire. How great is that? I personally cannot wait.
Also, Emma, I've heard that there are many live sessions about to start after this live shows. Do you know what we can learn?
Yes, that's right. So make sure to connect. There's a lot to learn about.
And finally, in 2 days we have our closing ceremony with a few more secrets, and I'm sure you will love it. But for now, we say goodbye.
See you tomorrow. We meet at the same time in the same place.
Bye bye.
Adios.
Slán.